that. Hello, everyone. Please rise for the anthem. Kolot balevav penima nefesh Yehudi omia ulfate mizrach kadima ain letzion Sophia od lo avta tikvatenu hatikvar bat shnot alpaim liotam chofshi be'artzenu eretz Zion Yerushalayim liotam chofshi be'artzenu eretz Zion Yerushalayim. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Gabe. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to Franco-Jewish Academy's 2022 Annual Gala. Tonight, we celebrate Franco-Jewish Academy and two very important members of our community who represent the excellence of FJA and who embody our mission and core values. We have had incredible virtual galas the past 2 years, but it is wonderful to be together with all of you to celebrate our alumnus, Vadim Avshalomov, and faculty member, Eric Rapp. Yep. In particular, I also want to welcome all the representatives from our local day schools, as well as all of the members of our community's clergy. Thank you for being here. I also want to thank some very important people who have enabled FJA to reach this moment, our 22nd year and our 20th graduating class. Yep, it's 2 decades, 2 decades. So thank you, first of all, to our past presidents, many of whom are here this evening, who have put their heart and soul into this amazing school. I'd like to also thank our current Board of Trustees and our board president, Bob Canvasser. Thank you for your partnership, your vision, and your dedication. I also want to thank our fabulous advancement team who planned and attended to every detail, as you can see, of tonight's event thoughtfully and creatively. Thank you. Thank you to our faculty and staff, many of whom are here this evening, who are truly the heart of FJA, for creating relationships that enable our students to thrive and grow beyond the classroom and for years to come. And finally, thank you to our students, again, many of whom are here this evening, for being creative, compassionate, and critical thinkers who care deeply about Jewish life in Israel. You make everything we do here purposeful and joyful. And at this time, I'd like to invite David Kurzman, a friend, member of the staff at the Jewish Federation, Senior Director of Community Affairs, and, at least as importantly, maybe more importantly, FJA Class of 2004, to deliver remarks on behalf of the Jewish Federation.
Good evening, Erev Tov. Michael Berger is sorry he's unable to attend, but I have the pleasure of bringing greetings on behalf of the Federation. Tonight, I want to briefly talk about commitment. And I'll begin with the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Detroit, where I am proud to serve as Senior Director of Community Affairs. The Jewish Federation is deeply committed to day school education. Now, the impact and importance of this school is very well known to those in this room tonight. Right? Everyone here tonight knows what FJA is all about. And if you don't, I assure you, you'll leave with a new appreciation. At Federation, we do too. We see the impact of this school across the entire community. More than 20 years of impact. And I think you will agree that today, we are seeing the vision of those who built and championed this school come to fruition. Tonight's distinguished faculty member, Eric Rapp, exemplifies the FJA faculty commitment to students, the strength of the school staff. Eric is not only a tremendous educator in math and physics, he's also someone who continues to energize his students and infuse them with a love of learning that stays with them throughout their academic careers and beyond. Congratulations, Eric, on this well-deserved recognition, and thank you for your commitment to the school and its students. To my good friend Vadim, your commitment to community and to our alma mater is second to none. If there was a most likely to be honored by FJA paper plate award, this is your guy. We were there on day one in the fall of 2000, and now, look, you're a respected community leader. As program officer of Jewish life at William Davidson Foundation, Vadim is no stranger to Federation or to any of our community agencies and institutions. We're grateful for your vision and for your partnership. Vadim's passion, his enthusiasm, his drive to make a difference were all evident when we were students here. Today, he uses these qualities in building a future, a great future for this community. Thank you, Vadim, and Yasher Koach. And finally, the commitment of volunteer leaders to FJA. I want to gratefully acknowledge Bob Canvasser for your hard work and your leadership during your term as president. I want to welcome incoming President Mark Weinbaum, and thank you for stepping up in this important role. Thank you also to the FJA Executive Committee and the entire Board of Trustees for all you've done for the school. In Pirkei Avot, we learn, Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, velo ata ben chorin lebatel mimena. You're not expected to complete the task, but neither are you free to avoid it. Mazel tov to the entire FJA community on another outstanding year. Your federation joins you in celebrating countless successes. Together, let us renew a shared commitment to the future of this wonderful school. And so when you are all inspired by the program tonight, take it with you. Parents, encourage your friends to take a closer look at FJA. Grandparents, talk about FJA among your peers. And alumni, join Vadim in championing this great school. There is more we can all do to ensure a bright future for the Frankel Jewish Academy. Our community is counting on it. Thank you.
David, thank you for that rallying cry. Absolutely, we need to get the word out. The Metropolitan Detroit community is blessed with excellent Jewish schools which serve students of every age and affiliation. But at FJA, we serve a unique role in this community. We are the only non-denominational college preparatory Jewish high school in the Metro Detroit area. This means that our students, teachers, and staff reflect the Jewish diversity of our community. It means students and teachers from the Reform, Orthodox, and conservative movements study, worship, and work together. These past 2 years have tested schools' commitment to their mission and their determination to meet the needs of their students and families. It has challenged schools to be more creative in the programming they provide, more flexible in the schedules they implement, and more thoughtful regarding support they provide for their precious faculty and staff. At the same time, in my 20 years as an educator, I have never seen the concept of formal schooling held in as high regard as it is now. After more than 2 years of disruptive schooling, schools are recognized as a critical feature of a successful and sustainable community. Schools are important not only because they provide students with the academic foundation to pursue careers or higher learning, but also because they provide a giant sandbox within which students can grow and mature, freely exploring their interests and curiosities and learning from their mistakes in an environment that is supportive and nurturing. Now, more than ever, students face unprecedented challenges related to social and emotional development. And schools, given that they are a hub where students spend a good portion of their young lives, have had to become more responsive to the growing needs of students. We at Frankel Jewish Academy endeavor to meet our students' academic needs with incredibly dedicated, reflective, and creative teachers, such as our honoree this evening. Our teachers don't simply instruct. They inspire our students by modeling creative and critical thinking, by demonstrating compassion and a commitment for lifelong learning. It is no wonder that teachers like Eric and his colleagues inspire alumni like Vadim. Here at FJA, we offer, you might find this surprising, nearly 70 different courses any given year, and continue to expand offerings, taking advantage of our STEAM lab to offer courses in fields of engineering and computer science. In fact, really proud about this, once again, our robo-traffic team competing in Technion's International Robotics Competition won, taking 3rd place this year. And I'm really pleased and excited to share this evening that we have gone one step further. We've developed a relationship, and actually with the help of Eric Rapp, our honoree this evening, with Lawrence Technological University. As a result, Eric Rapp, our honoree this evening, will be teaching courses here at FJA where students can earn college credit through participation in sports and the arts. In a sports update, I think baseball won 14-0, if I'm not mistaken. See Rick Dorn giving me the thumbs up. Yeah. I think one more win and we take district. Is that correct? Okay, yeah. So through participation in sports and arts, students learn to express themselves, reflect on their talents, and set goals for creative and athletic achievement. They learn to work together as a team and how to win with humility and lose with grace. Did you know that as a member of the Catholic League, FJA hosts 11 sports throughout the year, not including Quiz Bowl, which we have a fantastic Quiz Bowl coach, and we've had the best year in Quiz Bowl so far, with 70% of our students participating in sports in any given year. We've competed at the district and state levels, giving our students the opportunity to compete against the best athletes in our division. What other school can say that? In the fine arts, our students can select from an array of art classes. For some students, this provides them the opportunity to discover new talents, and for others, it allows them to build on an impressive art portfolio. Our performing arts department conducts 2 productions a year. If you haven't been to a show, you have to see them. Whatever your expectations are, it will blow them away. Typically, we have a musical and a comedy, giving students the opportunity to perform on stage or, if they prefer, to participate in the technical side of theater production. FJA clubs, which are student-led and staff-advised, offer students the opportunity to explore their areas of interest and engage in advocacy and leadership. One particular club, which is open to all FJA students, is the Maimonides Moot Beit Din Club. Moot Beit Din is an international competition, a mock trial of sorts, where students, using Jewish sources, act as rabbinic judges to decide the outcome of a particular case. The team with the best presentation, most compelling arguments, and best use of sources is selected as the winner. And I am thrilled to share that after having competed in Moot Beit Din for over a decade, year after year, this year we won, came in first place. Jewish Life and Learning at FJA provides students with compelling and engaging classes and programs where students explore Jewish tradition and values. They develop critical thinking and study skills and develop an appreciation of our rich history as a people and a commitment to Israel, our homeland. Students begin to think about their role as torchbearers for our people, thereby fulfilling the precept noted in the Shema, and you shall teach them the Torah, its laws, and its values to your children. We have a mission here at FJA, fulfilling that which is instructed in the Shema, to teach your children. Our college acceptance rates demonstrate the academic acumen, the well-rounded nature, the maturity, and the impact of our teachers have on our students. For the 2021 school year, for example, while only 48% of Michigan applicants were accepted into U of M, 71% of FJA students were accepted, and our students are so well prepared that they are often pre-approved to attend the prestigious Ross School of Business at U of M. Still, we continue to evolve in order to provide more impactful learning experiences and to address and nurture social and emotional learning needs organically. Therefore, we had plans before COVID. We're finally realizing them. We have introduced domestic and international experiential opportunities for each of our grades. In the next 2 weeks, in less than a week, but in the next 2 weeks, all of our students will be traveling. This Sunday, God willing, our juniors and seniors will be going to Israel. I'll be chaperoning the 11th grade. But our freshmen and our sophomores are going on excursions as well. Our freshmen are going to Montana, and our sophomores to Portland. This Montana trip we've planned for already several years. It's going to be an incredible experience. Our freshmen will be spending time with the Northern Cheyenne to engage in a parallel learning experience, exploring identity, language, and culture. What I've laid out for you, clearly, there is no school like FJA, and we continue to evolve to provide our students with nurturing support, setting them up for success, even in the most challenging time. And there is no better way to tell the story of FJA and its impact, even though I've tried, than our students. And so at this time, I invite Leah Phillips, graduating senior, to the stage.
Good evening, Gala honorees, friends of Frankel, rabbis, administrators, and teachers. It is my utmost honor to be able to speak in front of you today, and most specifically because we're celebrating a teacher, Mr. Rapp, distinguished alumni, Vadim Avshalomov, and the supporters like you who make the incredible FJA experience possible. Tonight, I would like to share with you my experience at FJA over the past 4 years. At FJA, I've learned to follow my passions, no matter how hard the path. It started when I walked through the square pathways for the first time in 2018 as a shadow. Entering high school less than a year later, I met many influential teachers, but always found a place in kinship with the teachers in the science department. They taught me lessons and helped me become the person I am today. As a young woman planning to enter the STEM field, I'm proud to go to a school where I have a female STEM role model, Mrs. Neaton. Starting freshman year, Mrs. Neaton, Mrs. Rapp, and the teachers in the science and math departments saw something in me in which others hadn't before, including myself. I connected to each of the teachers on a personal level and soon found myself learning from people that I considered friends. In the sciences, we created a course of study that would suit my learning as a science student. While I was at FJA in my freshman year, the department introduced an honors biology class and inspired me to take on a challenging project, examining and staining bacteria from different surfaces to see if they were gram-negative or gram-positive. I see seizing the opportunities as a Frankel student my duty. Staying after class and meeting with my teachers at lunch to understand content showed me the rigor of the path ahead. I would have to put in the effort, but they were there with me, encouraging and helping me see biology in a way that the natural world looked more astounding. Their doors were always open, ready to enrich our minds. Especially in the past year, I've seen through Mr. Rapp the dedication that teachers hold. I started this year in his AP Calculus and AP Physics classes. Time was a resource that Mr. Rapp seemingly had an infinite amount of. He's an amazing human being who dedicated his lunches, X-blocks, and out-of-classroom time to ensuring that material is digested by students. Spending hours and hours and hours on his homework between the classes resulted in a lot of questions, but I always knew the next day I would go to school and Mr. Rapp's door would be open, prepared to go between course material from different classes. Before midterm, I was joined by many students from all of his classes during those lunches. He moved with ease between the students' questions, answering them all. He's a kind person who shows compassion to all his students. No question too stupid and no question too small. I will be able to take these experiences and use what I've learned about commitment to learning and that it's okay to seek help to my next leg of the journey, college. He is so dedicated to his students, but beyond that, being a teacher, he is also a friend. Hearing about his son's double headers, his daughter's rocket, his wife's accomplishments, pets, personal project, as well as sharing our personal stories with him, connects him to students even closer to a bond that is defining in our development. Even in his commitment to spending a lot of time with us, his family is always close to his heart. Thank you, Mr. Rapp, for everything that you have done and will continue to do for this school. FJA as a FJA as a whole is a school-made community where students can learn from teachers and from each other. In the classroom, personal learning and development is made a priority with helping hands every step of the way. I have always felt my voice heard and helped other students feel that way too, with my student government opportunities, as well as other leadership opportunities in clubs and sports. Teachers, students, and staff are all willing to make the effort for the growth of the community. I've learned so much from FJA, and I'm deeply thankful for that, especially to Mr. Rapp, who has been kind enough to let me spend those lunches, X-block, and quite a few hours outside the classroom going over material. Thank you to all the teachers, thank you to the supporters who make this possible, and thank you, FJA.
Beautiful job, Leah. And what teacher wouldn't want to hear that from a student? So Leah gave you a glimpse into the experiences of our students while they are here at FJA. However, even long after our students leave the nurturing environment of FJA, our graduates are still part of the school, and the school, in many ways, is still very much part of them, as we'll see shortly. This year, we developed what's called a portrait of a graduate. 5 distinct statements which capture the most essential and significant impacts of an FJA education on each graduate. Here are the 5. FJA graduates are driven by intellectual curiosity to discover their passions. FJA graduates are independent learners who are empowered to advocate for themselves. FJA graduates embrace their Jewish journeys and are active builders and participants within the Jewish community. FJA graduates cultivate human connections through empathy and compassion. And finally, FJA graduates are inspired to improve the world around them. Each of these statements were carefully crafted through a process which included students, faculty, and staff, and it was an iterative process. These statements are extremely meaningful to us and represent who we are as a school. These are our aspirations, these 5 statements. However, our alumni are the ones who can best articulate the impact of FJA in their lives.
FJA showed me how to balance kind of my passions for my Jewish identity and my Jewish education and my secular passions.
Switching from my Hebrew and Talmud classes to my English classes, that sort of gave me the skills to think analytically and think on a few different planes at the same time. I love looking at things through an analytical lens. I love thinking deeply. I love questioning. And those were all things that were really supported and encouraged in my time at Jewish Academy.
Being around so many really smart and engaged and just high-performing peers and realizing that trying hard at school was actually a cool thing.
I think that FJA taught me to advocate for myself by giving me the opportunity to do so. It's very unique, I think, in a high school where students are given the latitude to really think about, assess, and ask for what they need as a student, and I think I was afforded the opportunity to do that.
Something that caught my eye on campus that I was prepared for was challenges to my identity, in particular anti-Israel sort of advocacy and people who basically opposed Israel. I brought a confidence from my day school experience. I brought a confidence from my education at FJA, not just my classroom experience, but during the Second Intifada, going to Washington, D.C. to rally on Capitol Hill. And that kind of formative experience that years later when I stepped onto a campus and I was confronted by student activists who challenged my identity, I'd been there before.
Seeing that my classmates were advocating for what they believed in, even at a young age, even amongst our smaller community, really showed me that that's something that I could do and carry forward with me into my life as an adult.
Beyond the classroom learning, which is top-notch, you get this really interesting kind of gamut of the Jewish experience. You volunteer at the senior homes, you volunteer at Bookstock, and you get this really diverse exposure to what Judaism and Jewish community is. And I really appreciated my time at FJA for exposing me to all of these things extracurricularly.
There was just so many different experiences that led me to just appreciate what it means to be a Jew, what it means to be a Jew within a community, and what it means to be a Jewish woman.
When I started my career and got involved in Jewish communal work, what got me into this career is wanting to serve and give back. Ultimately, this work is about making connections and bringing more meaning into people's lives. That experience, I think, at its best, starts at a school like FJA.
All of my rabbinics classes, we were always learning about what do the rabbis teach, and it was always based around ethics and morals, and if you were in this situation that maybe seemed so outdated, how can we apply that to nowadays, to modern times, and how can we be a more ethical person? How can we be kinder? How can we be more respectful?
We have an understanding and a love for tzedakah and giving back that is hard to teach.
When I came back to FJA as a professional, my biggest goal was to make sure that every single student in this building knew that somebody cared about them and someone was there for them. So I tried to make sure that I'm a face and always available so that students know that there's support and that I'm here for them.
Certainly when I graduated from college and I went into working the Jewish professional field, those were all times when I realized what was important to me and what led me on my journey. And I think that's something I learned from the Jewish Academy, is to really insert yourself into where you are and make that world a better place.
There was always a understanding that we are cultivating you, we are giving you all these skills, and it is expected that you will give back, that you are going to be developed into the next generation of Jewish and civic leaders.
I am inspired on a daily basis to see my peers ascending to leadership roles as professionals, as volunteer leaders, seeing them chairing events in the community, leading organizations, and generally just being extremely successful, knowing that the experiences we had together have led us to these moments.
Hi, I'm Nicole Kahn.
I'm Melanie Sessi, and this is Elon Krakoff from the class of 2020.
Melanie and I are the recipients of the 2020 and 2021 Faculty Honoree Awards, and we are here tonight to honor Eric Rapp.
Mr. Rapp is a cornerstone of this community. Over the years, he has touched the lives of countless students. He raises the bar for teachers, for leaders, holding his students accountable with high expectations, but always making sure that they're supported to reach those expectations.
Mr. Rapp is the definition of above and beyond. The courses he teaches are challenging, but he consistently takes care to make sure his students understand the material. Not only has he willingly taken on a challenging course load with multiple AP and college level classes, but he also consistently shows up for our school and our students. He supports students in athletics and the arts. He gives up his free time to work one-on-one with students, as Leah mentioned, and he spends hours developing video tutorials, giving students access to his support well beyond typical school hours. He's one of the first people in the parking lot in the morning and frequently comes in on Sundays. He was also the first to volunteer to chaperone a week-long camping trip in Montana with our 9th grade students, which leaves in just 2 weeks.
Mr. Rapp has always been this charming spirit among the faculty. He has an incredible energy and true passion for what he teaches and the role he gets to play at the school. Long before he had the title of math department chair, he continuously met with and checked on the other math teachers, providing ongoing mentoring and support. I can't count the number of times I've seen him pop in to check in with his teachers to ensure that their needs are being met.
Mr. Rapp is the kind of teacher that you want to make proud. He has a great sense of humor and forms relationships and connections with students that last well beyond graduation. He implements silly but meaningful community building activities, and his students know just how much he cares about them. This in turn motivates his students to want to be successful in his classes. He's the kind of teacher students want to come back and visit to share their successes after they head out into the world. He's innovative, he's caring, he's passionate, which is why he is the perfect choice for this honor. We are so thrilled to celebrate him tonight.
Shammai Omer, Aseh Toratcha Keva, Amor Me'at Ve'aseh Harbe, Ve'heve Mekabel et Kol Ha'adam, Besever Panim Yafot. Shammai said, say little and do much, and greet every person cheerfully. Pirkei Avot 1:15. These wise words from our rabbis personify Vadim Avshalomov to a T. I had the privilege of attending school with Vadim every year since his family arrived in Michigan until we graduated high school. We can all vividly remember what it's like in middle school, a time of insecurity when kids are trying to find themselves and where they fit. This is the point in Vadim's life when the Avshalomov family immigrated to the United States. And Vadim, who was already trilingual and had already had significant life experiences the rest of us couldn't have dreamed of, growing up in Baku, Azerbaijan, and living in Haifa, Israel, he always seemed to be on a different plane, not consumed by the pettiness of adolescence. It was not surprising that a few years later, Vadim chose to be a pioneer, leaving West Bloomfield High School after 9th grade, as I did, for the great unknown. I promise you, it is not hyperbolic in any way, and I know that my fellow alumni here tonight will agree, to say that this school would have been a different place in its early years had Vadim not been a student. The reasons why are numerous, but I will try for a minute to provide some concrete examples. Every time somebody celebrated a birthday in this school, and yes, even in its third year when we had more than 100 students and many faculty members, Vadim took it upon himself to bring a card and make sure that card was signed with a personal message from every single student. He didn't just love the community, he ensured that everybody could feel a part of it. Vadim never let anybody feel left out or that they didn't belong. There was a running joke that when Vadim left class to use the restroom, he was often breaking into various classmates' lockers. Now, I know that doesn't sound good, but just wait a minute. He was many times. Because if he had discovered that a fellow classmate had forgotten their lunch that day, he was quietly and not so quietly determined to assemble extra food from others to do a mitzvah. Don't worry, he would ask for and receive permission from you after taking out the food from your locker. But how could you say no to Vadim? Rather than just talking about helping others, Vadim always led by example. His own values and strength of character as a teenager embodied what the Academy strove to instill in all of us. Vadim was frequently organizing various community service efforts. He participated in almost every extracurricular activity offered, never seeking to be the star of the show, but rather thrilled to put in the work away from the spotlight to make the show possible. And when Vadim was not eligible to participate on girls' sports teams, for example, you could be sure he would be in the stands cheering on his classmates at every game. A leader in a mensch, performing acts of kindness, both great and small, many of which were never noticed, and that's how Vadim preferred it. When Vadim graduated, the classes that succeeded ours created Vadim Day at the school, with the hope of inspiring all FJA students to channel their inner Vadim and do good in their community. Say little and do much, and greet every person cheerfully. Since his time at the Academy, Vadim has made a monumental difference in the Detroit community, both professionally and with his volunteer leadership. In 2016, he joined the William Davidson Foundation, where he has held various roles. Currently a program officer, Vadim evaluates grant opportunities and stewards grantees and partners across the economic and cultural vitality and Jewish life portfolios. Vadim is also the immediate past president of the Isaac Agri Downtown Synagogue. His strategic vision helped usher in a new era for the synagogue, which included an unprecedented $5 million comprehensive campaign to reimagine the downtown synagogue as a hub of activity for Jewish life. He has also served on the boards of the Franco-Jewish Academy, the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Detroit, and he has served as the president of the Columbia Alumni Association of Michigan. Say little and do much, and greet every person cheerfully. Most importantly, to his heart, Vadim is a wonderful husband to Rachel and proud father of Sonia and Chemi. Vadim, I know you well enough to know that right now you're not very happy with me because I'm singing your praises and you're one of the most humble people I know. But please come to the podium.
That's beautiful. Am I taking it for you?
1 second.
Okay.
It is now my distinct privilege to present you with this Distinguished Alumni Award, which appropriately reads, Al Shlosha Devarim Ha'olam Omed, Al HaTorah, Ve'al HaAvodah, Ve'al Gmilut Chasadim. Upon 3 things the world stands, on Torah, on service, and on loving kindness. In honor of Vadim Avshalomov, for your dedication to the Frankel Jewish Academy.
Thank you, Alana, for those words and for your friendships since 5th grade. And thank you all for being here and supporting me tonight. So, as I sat down to write my remarks, I got a WhatsApp message from an Israeli relative visiting Azerbaijan. They were tending to the gravesites of their relatives at the Jewish cemetery in Baku and took a couple of pictures of my grandparents' tombstones. My father's father, Mordechai Avshalomov, was born in Baku in 1929. Though I was too young to remember, I'm told he would talk about being educated in Jewish schools until 1939, when all religious schools in Soviet Azerbaijan were shut down. Soon after, the Soviet Union would shut down all but a couple of synagogues and prohibit the training of rabbis and mohels altogether. Fast forward 61 years, 2 of his grandchildren participated in an opening ceremony for the Jewish Academy of Metro Detroit. Jammed. 51 students, 28 staff, and countless community leaders came together for Shacharit next door in Hanneman Hall, followed by dancing and photos in the JCC courtyard. I imagine how happy Zedula Mordechai, my grandfather, would have been at the sight of this. Next to consecrating a synagogue, perhaps nothing epitomizes our religious freedoms in America more than publicly opening a parochial school. Beyond the symbolism of it, our active role in opening a day school exemplified the reversal of my family's Jewish literacy trajectory, allowing the next generation to be fluent in our language, our prayers, our holy texts, and our history. The Jewish Academy's opening was, to use a sports metaphor, a statement game, certainly for my family, but as much for Detroit's Jewish community. That day, we collectively stated that Jewish education is a lifelong pursuit, not to be put on the back burner after one's bar or bat mitzvah. That Jewish education is about exposing yourself to the spectrum of Jewish beliefs and practices and choosing your own path. And that Jewish peoplehood must be prioritized despite the pull of universalism. But that's not the only statement we made with the Jewish Academy's opening. With its rich general studies curriculum, which continues today, and an impressive cast of teachers, which still continues today, we made a statement about our interdependence to society around us. Certainly, we had the AP classes, the science labs, the sports facilities, but it was as much about the zeitgeist around critical thinking, avoiding extremes, and eschewing what are
beloved U.S. history teacher, Mr. Jerry Gutman, who is with us tonight. Eschewing what he described as the "you people" syndrome, and he always did it with his finger like that. I recently learned from Hadar's Dina Weiss, Machon Hadar, it's a great organization, you should check them out, that the Hasidic master, Rabbi Aryeh Leib Alter, taught that it is interdependence rather than independence that reflects God's vision for us in the world. We should recognize ourselves as embedded in a social web rather than trying to deny that we exist in a relationship with others. Jammed then, and FJA now, continues to state that our Jewish particularism must be held in balance and sometimes in tension with our universalism, that we must be in relationship with the world around us, not for parnasa, the ability to earn a good living, and not because of dina de malchuta dina, because it is the law of the land, but because of ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as you love yourself, and ger hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim, you were a stranger in the land of Egypt. My grandfather, Jedula Mordechai, would have been equally happy that his grandchildren were learning these values. He understood the "you people" syndrome far too well. He witnessed ethnic violence that led to an all-out war. He saw coercive nationalism that engendered hate for others as a proxy for ethnic identity. And ultimately, he was a victim of this hate. It is this hate that prevented him from seeing my brother and I open a school and countless other smachot. It is why we send photos of his tombstone rather than photos of him hugging his great-grandchildren over WhatsApp. So when we say FJA has a dual curriculum, it's not about exposing students to Judaic and general studies so that they can choose to be a rabbi or a lawyer later in life, though we have alumni who are great rabbis and great lawyers. We're describing a lifelong commitment to balancing these sometimes complementary and sometimes conflicting statements and values. When you speak to an FJA student or an alumnus, perhaps even at tonight's dessert reception, I think you'll find that they are, and we are, living out these statements we made 22 years ago. Admittedly, it's a difficult balance. It's not for everybody. And its demands may even lead to lower enrollment, if we're being honest. But it's what we stand for. It's who we are. It's who I am. It's why I'm so grateful for my time at the Jewish Academy. It's why I still feel so connected to FJA. And it's why I'm so grateful to all of you, whether you're here in person or in spirit, for being with me today and for supporting this great cause. Toda rabah. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Vadim. Thank you, David Kurzman. Thank you, Alana. You spoke really, really beautifully, and I really appreciate it, your remarks. Vadim, thank you. We're so grateful to all of you, Vadim and Alana, David, and all of our close to 900 alumni for your dedication to our school. And thanks to all of you for your support and your commitment to Jewish education and the Frankel Jewish Academy. I'm Bob Canvasser, the current president of the Board of Trustees. I'm also a proud alumni parent. FJA plays an important role in our community. Those of us who have experienced the benefits of FJA understand what it means to invest in a Jewish education for our children. It's an investment in our community because FJA graduates become leaders, including professional and volunteer leaders at Federation, NextGen, JARC, JFS, FJA, and of course the Downtown Synagogue. It's why a group of donors in our community wanted to lower the barriers for as many students as possible to come to FJA. With the announcement of our incredible Shoresim grants, every student is eligible to receive $10,000 off the cost of tuition with no questions asked, no income test, and that money is guaranteed for all 4 years at FJA. In addition to our new grant program, we continue to provide generous tuition assistance for families that need more financial support to make an FJA education possible. If you know families who have students that would be a good fit for FJA, please encourage them to visit us and to contact our admissions office. It's not too late to apply for next year for both freshmen and transfer students. Before we end our program tonight, I'm honored to announce a new and incredibly exciting fundraising opportunity. On Sunday, May 22nd, we're launching a 36-hour crowdfunding campaign. Our goal is to raise $50,000 by 11:59 p.m. on May 24th. That's $50,000 in less than 2 days. But looking around this room and hearing from our graduates, I'm confident that we can do it. And what's more, all donations during this campaign will be tripled, 3 times the impact, thanks to the generosity of Nancy and Jim Grossfeld. That means a donation of $100 will become a $300 gift for FJA. All of you can make an impact as ambassadors for FJA to tell our story and the impact the school has had on you. I ask you to commit to raising a meaningful amount. Could be $360 or $500 or $1,000 for FJA. We'll provide you with template emails, text messages, and call scripts that you can use to ask friends, family, and your social network to donate to a school that has made such an impact on you and your families. We know everyone is busy and that your time is valuable, so we appreciate even 30 minutes of your time devoted to sending messages, making calls, or posting on social media on behalf of FJA. By becoming an ambassador, you can energize our community of supporters and make a huge impact, in addition to raising much-needed funds. On the screen above me, there's a code, and if you hold your phone, I've been assured, and click on the link that appears from CauseMatch, you'll be taken to a commitment form where you can become an ambassador for FJA. Your help will allow us to serve more students and demonstrate to the community how much support there is for the mission of FJA. Again, thank you all so much for your support and for being with us tonight. We invite everyone to join us now in the lobby for coffee and dessert. Thank you.